Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I will be going over 25 fragrances from my favorite 25 brands. This was a video that was suggested from my subscribers, so it was a great idea, so I decided to do this. So these ones are like, I would like to buy first fragrances from all those brands right now. It can change from different months, but right now, these are the fragrances that I would buy if I had to buy one fragrance from these brands. So if you're ready, let's get started. So the first fragrance is Naxos from Xerjoff. Well, Xerjoff is definitely my favorite brand. I love all of their fragrances, and I have many favorites, but if I had to pick one fragrance, it would be Naxos, of course. I mean, this is like a very mass appealing tobacco, honey, and like lavender fragrance, but I think it has some kind of a freshness too, because I can wear this like all year round, even in summer with spraying less. So this is an amazing fragrance that I think everyone should have there in their collection. I mean, it's like a stepping up fragrance from the designer realm to the niche realm also. So this is a beautiful fragrance. I mean, I'm sure you've tried it by now. If you haven't, you have to. This is a very unisex, good performing, perfectly blended, amazing scent from Xerjoff. So if I had to pick one, it will be Naxos from Xerjoff. So the next fragrance is Imagination from Louis Vuitton. I don't have many Louis Vuitton fragrances. I've smelled some of them. I haven't smelled all of them. But from the ones that I've smelled, this is definitely my favorite. If I had to pick one, it will be Imagination. So it's a very fresh, citrusy, kind of soapy, elegant, rich smelling scent that has like a very, very specific DNA. I mean, when you try it, I'm sure you will just see how amazing it is. It's perfectly blended. Of course, it has some similar fragrances and clones, but this is like an amazingly high quality fragrance. Of course, their prices are very, very high, so you can try the clones and like similar fragrances too. But if I had to pick one fragrance from Louis Vuitton, it would be Imagination. So the next fragrance is Evil Angel from Lorenzo Pazaglia. Well, this is a brand I love. Their fragrances are all extraits. He has some amazing creations, but Evil Angel is my favorite. The name is misleading. It's not like an evil fragrance. It's a very mass appealing fragrance. It's kind of like three fragrances in one for me. It's like a fruity fragrance at the top, and then becomes maybe like a little bit boozy because it has some rum and whiskey in the middle notes, and it's like amber, vanilla, like tobacco in the base. It's a beautiful fragrance. Like every note is perfectly blended. It's not too much. It's like a combination of all the notes. It's kind of like a complex fragrance. It's sweet. I think it's very unisex, but kind of leaning masculine. It's mostly a cold weather scent, but except for really, really hot summer days, you can use it. So it's a perfect fragrance. It's Evil Angel by Lorenzo Pazaglia. So the next fragrance is Vanille Leather from BDK. Well, Gris Charnel was my first love with BDK, the regular one and the X-Trade. I love some other ones, but ever since I've smelled this one, this become my favorite. It's basically a vanilla leather kind of sweet fragrance with iris. The leather in this one is not very prominent, but it's still there. So it's like a Swedish leather. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's kind of sweet. It doesn't project too much, but it stays a long time. I mean, if you like sweet fragrances that has some depth, this is a beautiful fragrance because you still get the leather, just a little Swedish leather with iris and vanilla. It's a beautiful fragrance, so it's become my favorite BDK at the moment. So if I had to pick one, it would have been Vanille Leather. So the next fragrance is Ris Tanama from Renier. So this is a fragrance that is just amazing. It's like a cherry fragrance with lime and some woods, even castoreum, some animalic notes. It's a beautiful fragrance. It has an amazing sillage. It's not like any other cherry fragrance out there. It's very like airy. It's an extrait de parfum, so it projects a lot. So the combination of the cherry and lime is just amazing. So this is a great fragrance to wear maybe all year round because it's a strong fragrance too. So if you like cherry fragrances, you should definitely give this a try. It's Ris Tanama from Renier. So the next fragrance is Absolue pour le Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Well, I'm actually so glad they released this because I had an older bottle that was discontinued and I couldn't use that one because I was so afraid that it was gonna finish. This one is like, actually it's very, very close to the original. So basically this is like a big brother of the Grand Soir fragrance. So it's an amber fragrance with like a kind of animalic honey note. So it's very, very dark, mysterious, sexy. It's a beautiful masculine fragrance that's basically for going out or like cold weather. I'm so glad they brought this back because this is now available to buy. But of course it's kind of like a exclusive right now, but maybe soon it will be like available everywhere. It's beautiful. It's Absolue pour le Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. So the next fragrance is Fan Your Flames from Nishane. Well, I love Nishane. It's a Turkish brand. They have some amazing fragrances. It's really hard to pick one, but Fan Your Flames has always been my favorite. It's beautifully blended, like tobacco, rum, and coconut fragrance, basically. That smells divine. So it's like, especially if you spray clothes, it's even more amazing. The sillage is amazing. The projection is very good. So this is like a boozy cocktail, but with tobacco. It's an amazing fragrance. It's very masculine, but for colder weather, but you should definitely give this a try. It's Fan Your Flames by Nishane. The next fragrance is Ganymede by Marc Antoine Barrois. Well, I mean, everyone's heard about this fragrance, so this is like a game changer. It's basically, you know, kind of a little bit marine, metallic, leathery, woody scent, which is just amazing. I mean, it's like a revolutionary fragrance, just like, for me, it's like a Ventus or something, because it was very unique when it first came out, but then, of course, Bois Imperial by Essential Parfums is very close to this one without the metallic feeling. But this one is just so amazing. The performance is amazing. The sillage is amazing. I mean, every time I put on this fragrance, everyone asks, what are you wearing? So this is a beautiful fragrance. If I had to pick one from Marc Antoine Barrois, it would have been Ganymede. So the next fragrance is Promise from Frederick Malle. Promise is in the collection of Desert Gems, which it doesn't have oud. The only fragrance that hasn't that oud in it. It's an amazing fragrance with a perfect green apple note at the top. It has a patchouli note. It's like a patchouli kind of smoky, fruity scent that is amazing. So it's very complex, it's dark, but at the same time mass appealing because of this fruity apple note that's just amazing. I mean, even the people that I know that are not into fragrances love this fragrance. So even though it's dark and mysterious and very, very strong, it's also kind of mass appealing, but definitely for colder weather, and it's very, very masculine. So it's Promise by Frederick Malle. So the next fragrance is Oud Cadenza by Maison Crivelli. Actually, maybe a couple of months ago, if I did this video, it would have been Oud Maracuja, but after I got this one, it's actually became my favorite because basically it has that Oud Maracuja DNA without the passion fruit and with addition of caramel and dates and some vanilla. So it's like a sweeter, less fruitier version of Oud Maracuja, which is amazing. Of course, it's a rose oud fragrance, but the rose is not very prominent in this one. So it's beautiful. It's my new favorite from Maison Crivelli. It's Oud Cadenza. So the next fragrance is Ebene Fume from Tom Ford. I could have picked a lot of different fragrances from Tom Ford, but probably right now this is my favorite. So it's like a kind of sweet, ambery, woody, and smoky scent. The smokiness is not too much, it's perfect, like the right amount of smokiness. It's the woodiness coming from the ebony wood, so it's a perfectly blended, not offensive, very mass appealing, but original scent. I love this one. It's a masculine scent. I don't think it's very unisex, but it can be a signature scent for colder weather. It's beautiful. The projection in sea eyes is also very good. So it's Ebene Fume from Tom Ford. So the next fragrance is Guidance by Amouage. So this is kind of like a controversial scent because most people think this is very feminine, but it's definitely unisex. I mean, it smells amazing on women, but it also smells amazing on men too. So it's definitely unisex. It's a very complex and hard to explain fragrance. So it has notes like pear and hazelnut and like amber, maybe vanilla, all kinds of notes. It's very different and unique, but it's somehow kind of mass appealing too. It has an amazingly peculiar scent, but it's very, very likable. I always get compliments when I put on this one. So it's like a drug that everyone likes. So it's a different fragrance. So if I had to pick one from Amouage right now, it would have been Guidance. So the next fragrance is Enigma from Roja Parfums. Well, I love many fragrances from Roja Parfums, but this has always been my favorite because basically it's like a boozy amber scent, like when you look at the notes, but it actually smells like Coca-Cola to me. So I love Coca-Cola. So this is like a realistic Coca-Cola that smells amazing. Of course, the Parfum version is a bit darker. It's more richer, but especially the Parfum Cologne version is like very bright, effervescent, and like a Coca-Cola kind of boozy, ambery scent that resembles it. So it's beautiful. It's always been my favorite. It's very, I think, unisex, but it's a beautiful fragrance. It's Enigma by Roja Parfums. So the next fragrance is Numero Uno from Adamo Parfums. Regardless of the notes, this one smells like a combination of Dior Homme Parfum, the old version, and Dior Homme Intense. But when you look at the notes, it's like rose and patchouli and different kind of notes, but actually it smells like Dior Homme Parfum, the older version, which I love. It's a beautiful fragrance, but unfortunately it's not available anymore. They've changed the formula. So if you're looking for something that resembles the old formula that has an amazing performance, amazing longevity, this is a beautiful fragrance. You should definitely feel that iris makeup-y tone with this one. It's a beautiful unisex fragrance, maybe a little bit more masculine because it actually resembles Dior Homme Parfum a lot more. So it's Numero Uno from Adamo Parfums. So the next fragrance is Psychedelic from Javoy. Well, I love patchouli fragrances, and this is like a signature patchouli fragrance. It's not very complicated. It smells like a chocolatey patchouli with amber. It's kind of sweet. It's beautiful. Patchouli, ambery fragrance. It's very linear. It doesn't change too much, but its performance is very good. And the price is also amazing. So this is a must-buy for any man that likes patchouli scent. So it's Psychedelic by Javoy. So the next fragrance is Kutay from Unique Luxury. Unique Luxury is also an amazing Turkish brand that I love, but this has always been my favorite Unique Luxury fragrance. It's, for me, the best whiskey fragrance that I've tried. It has a very, very realistic whiskey note at the top. So, I mean, you can't wear this to the office or when you're driving because people will think that you actually drank whiskey right before they made you. It's very strong, very realistic whiskey note at the top. And then it settles down, but it lingers throughout the whole life of it. But it has like a tobacco, oudi, kind of vanilla. It's a beautiful, when the dry down is amazing too, the combination is perfect. It's very, very masculine, very amazing performance. Its sillage is amazing. So it's like a very strong, perfectly masculine scent that if you like boozy notes, if you like whiskey notes, you should definitely try this one. It's Kutay by Unique Luxury. So the next fragrance is Altair by Parfums de Malle. Well, I had other favorites before they released this one, but now it's become my favorite. I mean, I could have picked Carlisle, Haltane or Layton exclusive or Sedley to this, but ever since I've smelled this one, this has become my favorite Parfums de Malle. It's not very complicated. It's the cinnamon, orange blossom, and a vanilla scent, but the combination is just amazing. It has a touch of freshness that I even use this in summer, so it doesn't bother anyone. On me, the performance is amazing. I can smell it hours later, but probably the newer batches have less performance, so this is like an older batch. But of course, there are a lot of clones of this fragrance, but from the ones that I've smelled, this one smells more better rounded, better, blended. It's an amazing fragrance that is not too complicated, but it's perfect. I mean, it's a very, very mass appealing scent. So it's Altair by Parfums de Malle. So the next fragrance is Royal Incense by Oman Luxury. I love this brand. Everything about them is amazing. The fragrance is amazing. The bottles are so nice. They're very strong. So this is basically, the name is kind of misleading because this is not very like a dark incense fragrance. This is more of like a honeyed soap and incense fragrance. So for me, it turns very soapy on me. It's a beautiful fragrance. The soapiness makes it a little bit more unisex, but it's a masculine fragrance. The incense is not like a church incense. It's beautiful. It adds depth to this fragrance. The performance is amazing. So you should definitely try this one. It's Royal Incense by Oman Luxury. So the next fragrance is African Leather by Memo Paris. So this is a leather fragrance that has to be in the collection of everyone that likes leather fragrances. It's a suede leather with cardamom and kind of geranium, like a rosy geranium. It's a beautiful suede, like classy, elegant leather scent. The leather in this one is not like harsh or overpowering. It's beautiful. It's a suede leather. It's a perfectly masculine scent. It has good performance. It doesn't project too much, but it projects like enough. So this is a perfect leather scent. And if you like leather scents, if you like classy scents, this is a must-have for every man. So it's African Leather by Memo Paris. So the next fragrance is Montabaco Intensivo by Armand Jane. Well, I always think that Armand Jane makes some very classy scents, and this is one of them. So it's like a citrusy tea and a very, very fresh tobacco scent. So it's a tobacco scent that is fresh, that is very elegant, very attractive. I always think that James Bond would use this one for like as a signature scent. So it's like a very classy, maybe it requires some age to it. It's like a very appropriate office scent, a very appropriate signature scent. It's a beautiful fragrance. The Intensivo version, of course, has more performance, but it doesn't project, it's not like a loud fragrance. It's perfectly class and elegant. So it's Montabaco Intensivo by Armand Jane. So the next fragrance is Semazin by Seven Gates Perfumes. Well, this is an amazing, like kind of boozy, green, ambery, and patchouli scent. It's very aromatic. It has absinthe in it. It has like mint. It's beautiful. It's kind of like a boozy greenness to it. It's a kind of sweetness coming from the amber and the patchouli. It's a beautiful fragrance. I think it's kind of masculine, but it's an extrait de parfum. Its performance is amazing. It's very, very mass appealing. So it's my favorite from this line. It's basically a scent that everyone should have if you like aromatic, kind of boozy, green, ambery scents. It's beautiful. It's Semazin by Seven Gates Perfumes. The next fragrance is Cedrat Boise Intense by Mansera. So I love the original Cedrat Boise, but I think the new versions have less performance, so I didn't include it in here. So this one is like a darker, less fruitier, but stronger version of the Cedrat Boise. It actually has like leather and oud as a note, but I don't get them that much. So it's a little bit darker. It's not as fruity. It's a bit mature version of Cedrat Boise, but it has better performance. So if you actually can't find an older formula of Cedrat Boise, you can actually try this one. So it's Cedrat Boise Intense by Mansera. So the next fragrance is Rehab by Initio. So this is one of my first niche fragrances that I bought. It's actually a fragrance that reminds you of Victor & Wolf's Spice Bomb. So I always liked Spice Bomb, but this is like a creamier, richer version of it. So it's like a sweet, spicy patchouli scent. It's beautiful. It has like Hedion in it, so it's like has a sexy calming effect to it. So all of these white bottles of Initio are just amazing, but this is very, very mass appealing. Everyone I showed it to loved it. So it's a perfect fragrance to put on whenever you want to feel better, feel calm and relaxed, and actually has like a sexy edge to it too. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's Rehab by Initio. So the next fragrance is Bois Imperial Extrait from Essential Parfums. Well, I also like the original Bois Imperial, but this one is like a better performing, a little bit more interesting version of it because it has like a rose at the top. So it starts very different from Bois Imperial with the addition of rose, but then it settles back to the original DNA. It's a stronger version of it. It's amazing. It's like a better version of an also amazing fragrance. So it's a 30 ml, it's an extrait. It's very strong. You don't need many sprays of it. I think it's kind of masculine, but maybe it can be worn unisex. So it's a beautiful fragrance. It's Bois Imperial Extrait by Essential Parfums. So the last fragrance is Soho by Super's Budapest. Well, this fragrance has all of the, apparently all the notes that I love in a fragrance. So it has vanilla, amber, patchouli, saffron, it has like coconut, cinnamon, so it's like a tobacco. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's kind of masculine, but I think it can also be unisex. It's very like kind of powdery. It's very long lasting. It has good performance, so it's a very beautiful scent. I think everyone would love this one if you like sweet fragrances because it's kind of sweet, but it's different. It doesn't smell like any other fragrance that I know of. It's like a combination of different fragrances. It's beautiful. So it's Soho by Super's Budapest. So these are the 25 fragrances that I would buy from these houses if I had to pick one fragrance from them. Of course, there are a lot of fragrance houses that I love, but to keep this video short, they had to be like 25. So I hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next video.